Listen to me carefully. If you keep living for the world's attention, you will die in its silence. If you keep chasing their approval, you will drown in their rejection. And if you keep showing up as the same person you've always been, you will never meet the person you were born to become. This life is not about being seen. It is about becoming. And the truth that most will never face is this: before you rise, you must vanish. Before you transform, you must disappear. Think of the seed. It buries itself in the dirt where no one applauds, where no one notices, where no one cares. But in that hidden darkness, something unstoppable begins to grow. And when it breaks through the soil, the world finally sees what was happening all along. You are that seed. And if you dare to disappear, from their noise, from their opinions, from the chains of your old self, you will reemerge unrecognizable, unstoppable, undeniable. Because transformation is not born in the spotlight. It is born in the shadows. They will not remember you for what you said. They will not remember you for what you thought. They will remember you for the life you lived, for the fire you carried, for the transformation you became. And here lies the truth that most never dare to face. To transform your life, you must first disappear. Not from existence, but from distraction. Not from the world, but from its noise. Not from people, but from their expectations that have chained you to mediocrity. Every man and woman who rose to greatness, whether Edison in his dimly lit workshop, forging light out of failure, or Lincoln in his lonely struggle against doubt and defeat, first vanished into the silence of their own vision. They stepped back from the crowd, not to hide, but to refine. They understood that you cannot transform while remaining visible to the same eyes that only see the old version of you. You must vanish long enough to recreate yourself in secret, and then return as something the world cannot ignore. Disappearance is not escape. It is strategy. The caterpillar does not negotiate with the world about when it may rest. It retreats. It weaves itself into darkness. It accepts stillness. And inside that silence, it dissolves completely. Its old form dies. And when it emerges, it does not crawl back into the same leaf it left. It soars. You must do the same. You must be willing to vanish from the habits that enslaved you, from the conversations that drained you, from the routines that wasted you. You must disappear from the battlefield of petty competition and prepare yourself for a war that only you can fight. The war against the weak version of yourself that has kept you small. Look back at every towering monument of success, and you will see this truth. Before the world saw the glory, the individual embraced the obscurity. Carnegie spent years in steel mills, absorbing the grind, before his empire was born. Ford disappeared into barns and workshops, tinkering with engines when everyone else thought the horse was eternal. Disney was dismissed, laughed at, fired for lacking imagination, but he withdrew into the quiet persistence of vision, until his dreams filled the earth with castles. Transformation demands that you walk into the shadows willingly. It demands that you turn off the noise of shallow validation, so that you can hear the deeper call of your purpose. Ask yourself, are you living for their applause, or for your destiny? Because applause fades. Destiny echoes through eternity. You must choose to disappear from the meaningless so you can appear in the extraordinary. When you disappear, you give yourself the gift of solitude. And solitude is not loneliness. It is the birthplace of power. In solitude, you discover who you are without the mask. You strip away the roles society forced upon you. Student, employee, friend, follower. And you meet the raw, unpolished, unbreakable self that lives underneath. That self has been waiting. That self has been suffocating under the layers of other people's opinions. This is why you must vanish. To breathe again. To see again. To begin again. But disappearance is only the first step. The real work begins in the silence. The real work begins when the world is no longer watching. The question is, what will you build in that secret hour? What will you shape when no one is clapping for you, when no one is posting your progress, when no one is telling you good job? The weak man collapses in that silence. He runs back to noise because he cannot endure the weight of his own thoughts. But the strong man, the strong woman, takes the silence and bends it into steel. They plant ideas. They cultivate discipline. They sharpen skills in the unseen hours. And by the time the world sees them again, they are unrecognizable. Understand this. Your transformation will not be announced. It will not be applauded while it is happening. It will look like nothing to everyone else. They will not understand why you've gone quiet, why you've stopped attending, why you've withdrawn. They may laugh. They may judge. They may try to drag you back. But let them, because when the butterfly emerges, no one remembers the cocoon. Now, let us speak of the mind, the forge where transformation is either won or lost. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." And yet most people conceive nothing of worth, because their imagination is smothered by doubt. Most people believe nothing of depth, because their faith is drowned by fear. Most people achieve nothing of greatness because their actions are dictated by comfort. To disappear is to reclaim the mind. It is to silence the external voices so you can amplify the internal one. Your mind is a battlefield, and if you do not fight for it, the world will colonize it. Advertisers will plant desires that are not yours. Cowards will plant fears that are not yours. Critics will plant limits that are not yours. And you will live a borrowed life, a tragedy of potential buried under the soil of other people's opinions. But when you disappear, you burn the weeds. You cleanse the soil. You take back the territory of your thoughts. And once you reclaim the battlefield, you must do what every general must do. Set strategy. What is your vision? Not the shallow wish of wanting more money, more comfort, more status. I speak of vision, the thing that pulls you forward even when you are exhausted, even when you are bleeding, even when no one believes. Vision is the fuel of transformation. Edison endured 10,000 failures because vision kept whispering, "There is light in this darkness." Lincoln faced defeat after defeat, but vision reminded him, "This nation can be united." Mandela endured decades in a cell, yet vision told him, "Freedom is worth chains." What is your vision? Can you see it clearly enough that it makes your current life unbearable? Can you see it so vividly that it refuses to let you sleep in mediocrity? Can you see it so intensely that even in your solitude, you feel its presence as if it were already real? If you cannot, then disappear longer. Withdraw deeper. Cleanse the mind further. Because until vision consumes you, transformation cannot begin. Once vision is born, belief must follow. Vision is the seed. Belief is the water. Without belief, the seed withers. Belief is not wishful thinking. Belief is not blind optimism. Belief is the unshakable decision that what you have seen in your mind is already reality, waiting for your persistence to bring it forth. Carnegie believed,